Wow. All right. So, what is good, everybody? This is Kevin, aka The Serious Man, and the Apple event just concluded. And with that, we saw the introduction of a new Apple Watch model, which they are calling the Apple Watch Ultra. It has a rugged look, new buttons, new speakers, new everything. New AirPods Pro, which to me look like the current models, but now I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But we're not here to talk about either one of those devices. This video is going to be about the new iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Pro. So let's dive into the iPhone 14. There are going to be two versions of this iPhone this year, the base model iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Plus, which these come with a 6.1 inch and 6.7 inch displays. Now to me, these phones are more of an S update rather than new model iPhones. And if you don't know what I mean by that, just remember back a couple of years where Apple would make a new model iPhone one year, and then the next year come up with the S or the updated version of that exact same phone. There was the iPhone 3GS, the iPhone 6S, the last one they did was the 10S Max. I mean, these phones look just like their past year counterparts, where the differences were in the updated processor and camera abilities. And with the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus, this is exactly the same thing. They had the same A15 Bionic chip that the current model iPhone 13 does. But the 14A15 has been enhanced to improve better graphics, connectivity, and the camera abilities. These phones come in 5 new colors: Midnight, Starlight, Purple, Blue, and Product Red. Now on the back is going to be a dual lens camera setup. Yeah, that's right. There's a dual lens camera, so no triple lens on the base model iPhones. But these are going to be 12 megapixels, whereas the front-facing camera still supports 12 megapixels as well. And now it includes autofocus, deep fusion, and the new photonics engine. And the new iPhone cameras also feature something Apple calls action mode. This improves on the stabilization when you're using your phone to record video, which will give it a more smoother look. And Apple claims this will eliminate the need for having a gimbal with your phone, but I'll be the judge of that one for myself when I get my hands on it, so make sure you're subscribed for that. And next is something that I feel is a real game changer, and this is the emergency SOS features. So picture this. Let's say that you're out camping, on a wild trip in the wilderness, or you're driving through some remote area, and like all of us, there's a good chance that you're going to lose your phone signal. And under normal circumstances, you can't call or text anybody for help in case you can get stuck. Well, with the new iPhones, they feature a satellite SOS, which will allow you to make text messages to emergency service providers by locating a satellite, connecting you to it, and using short text compression to send and receive messages, which will get you the help that you need. And to me, this is mind-blowing. I mean, it opens up the doors to all kinds and sorts of exploration abilities. The new iPhones can also detect when you're in a car crash, which hopefully none of us will ever have to use, but they have improved G-force sensors that recognize the extreme force that can be applied to your iPhone, and should this happen, your iPhone will notify your emergency contacts and call for help. And as I said before, the iPhone 14 isn't the only iPhone coming on later on this month. We now have an iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max. And before I get to either one of those, I have to give a huge shout out to the leaks because they were, for once, surprisingly accurate in not only how the iPhone will look, but also what colors we're going to get too. So the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will come in a 6.1 inch and 6.7 inch variants. And the colors are going to be space black, silver, gold, and this new deep purple. And that deep purple is nice. I'm either going to go for that or the space black this year. On the front of these iPhones is the rumored pill-shaped cutout, and this is where the front-facing camera now lies. But remember how the rumors said that the proximity sensor is also going to be there as well? Well, that has changed up just a little bit. You see, that proximity sensor now hides behind the display, which makes me wonder how close Apple is to building a camera behind the display as well. We'll just have to wait to see what future iPhones hold, but this pill-shaped cutout does more than just hold the cameras. It features something Apple calls Dynamic Island. So with this, Apple is reinventing how they do notifications, as the black area will now expand itself to include things such as iMessages, show incoming calls, app activities. You can even use this when you're setting an alarm, as the dynamic island will show things like the timer. And Apple has made it so app developers can build their data into this as well. And this all goes hand in hand with the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max is always on display. You see, with that, the phone can lower the display's refresh rate down to as low as 1 Hz. dimming itself to keep the screen barely visible while still preserving battery life, which is another thing I can't wait to test out. So again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Now the screen itself doesn't just dim, but it's also now the brightest display on the phone, period. Apple's claiming that the new iPhone 14 Pros will have a maximum outdoor display brightness of up to 2000 nits. And of course, you're still getting the ceramic shield to make sure that this phone is scratch resistant. On the back, we now have a 48 megapixel camera sensor, which is the main camera this year, and that takes stunning photographs. The camera on the iPhone has always been incredible, but looking at these pictures taken on the iPhone 14 Pro, I feel that Apple is yet again taking the mobile photography industry by force with these upgrades. And you see that is now thanks to the new camera system. We can also get 48 megapixel Pro RAW photos, which, again, awesome. And where the iPhone 13 cinematic mode last year was limited to 1080p, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max can do cinematic mode at 4K up to 24 frames per second, which to me, which is very important because all these videos that I've made on my channel have been solely done with an iPhone. So I can't wait to get my hands on one of these and see the results for myself. Now, powering the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max is the A16 Bionic chip, which now includes a 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU, a 16-core neural engine with its own dedicated display engine, and that is going to be the thing that powers the iPhone's always-on display and intelligently dims sections of the phone when it's not in use. So, given all this, you probably are wondering now, when can you get one, and how much does all this cost? Well, as expected, pre-orders for anything on the iPhone 14 lineup go live this Friday, September 9th, and you'll be able to pick them up in stores September 16th. The iPhone 14, the base model 14, starts at $799 with storage options ranging from 128, 256, and 512 gigabytes. The iPhone 14 Plus will start at $899 with the same storage options as its little brother. The iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max have the same storage options as the iPhone 14 in addition to a 1 terabyte option, and pricing for the iPhone 14 Pro starts at $999 with the Pro Max starting at $1099. And depending on which model iPhone you currently have, you can get up to $1,000 for your trade-in towards an iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, and up to $800 towards an iPhone 14 or 14 Plus. So that's it. Let me hear your thoughts. If you're currently using an iPhone 13 Pro, is the upgrade to a base model iPhone 14 worth it? In my impression, no. I mean, there are some really awesome iPhone 14 exclusive features like the satellite SOS, but if you're on the iPhone 13 Pro or Pro Max, I would recommend keeping it, at least for now, until the reviews come out, and then we can make a decision. Now, if you're one of those people going for an iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, that is 100% worth it. As of right now, Apple knew what they were doing when they gave those phones all the exclusive upgrades, from the always-on display to the larger display in general, with the thinner bezels and the improved camera. I mean, it's definitely the iPhone to have, which to me, I will have one. So until then, thanks again for watching. You guys stay safe. See you in the next one. Peace.